So my mother, just had back surgery, and she's been stuck in a nursing home as she recovers, flat on her back. Yesterday I spoke to her, and thank God she was able to get up. She's healed to the point where she's able to get up, and she was sitting up. And she said, the blessing now that she says of Baruch Ata Hashem, blessed are you God, Zokef Kifufim, who straightens those who are bent. She said, you have a whole new understanding of that blessing. Sometimes we never really understand the blessings that we have until we understand what we lacked or we didn't have. Hi everybody, this is Ruvain Spalter from Kitah.org, and I want to share with you a thought about Yom Yerushalayim from this week's Parshat. This week in Israel, we're going to celebrate Yom Yerushalayim. Is the day that we repatriated Yerushalayim. The Jewish people finally regain control over Jerusalem, over Har Habayit. And there's a message in this week's Parshat, in Parshat Bechukotai, that teaches us that sometimes when we lack something, that lack can be a blessing, and it also can teach us to appreciate that which we didn't have and now do have. Let's take a look at the Parsha. So this week we read Parshiot Behar and Bechukotai. Behar and Bechukotai come together. Bechukotai is famous for the tochacha, the rebuke that Moshe gives to the Jewish people from God, what will happen to us if we don't follow God's commandments. And they're bad. If we don't follow God's commandments, that's what we read in the Shema, then God will bring upon us punishment, no rain, no food, enemies will take us over. And finally the Torah says, God says, "V'hashimoti ani et haaretz," and I will make the land desolate. So much so, "V'shamemu aleh oiveichem hayoshvim ba." Shamamu means your enemies will make it desolate, those who dwell in it. That the land will be so desolate, they'll be amazed at how desolate the land really is. That the land will be no Jews, even the people who are dwelling in it will leave it abandoned and desolate. So Rashi comes along and brings a midrash and says something really, really fascinating about this pasuk. Says Rashi says, yes, of course that's terrible, but there's a hidden blessing in that pasuk. What does it mean? Hashimoti ani et haaretz. God says, I will make the land desolate. Zo midat tova liYisrael. This is a good attribute to Israel. Shelo yimtzu ha'ivim nachat ruach be'artzam. That our enemies will not find nachat ruach, will not find satiety, will not find pleasantness in our land. Shehetehei shomeima miyoshveh. That it should be desolate from those who dwell in it. Says Rashi, God is telling us, this is not a curse, this is a blessing. That when we're not here, the land itself will also be desolate. Other people can't be here as well. I thought of this when I think of Yerushalayim, when we celebrate the return to Jerusalem. So you can see, if you look on the internet, there are some pictures. This is Jerusalem today. This is Yerushalayim. As we're looking at it, you look at it from Har HaMenuchot, from Har HaZeitim, the Mount of Olives. You're looking at it from behind, as it were. This is what it looked like 100 years ago. It's just hard to imagine the difference between that and this. I found another amazing website that you can click on. You can see what it looked like then. Like, look how desolate it was. Look at what's on this side of the mountain. And now we all know where this bridge is, and we know where this bridge leads to in Jerusalem. And there are cars, and I'll give you one more example. This is Jerusalem in the time of the British Mandate. How the British had to barricade because it was so dangerous. This is that exact same street in Yerushalayim now. To understand what we have now, we have to look back and appreciate where we were, what we didn't have before. I think this is something that all of us take for granted sometimes. We take our blessings for granted. We once we have a blessing, we think that we always had it. And it takes us, when we read the Parsha, on the one hand, we can identify with the desolation of the tochacha because it happened to us in Jewish history. But also when we look back at our history, says Rashi, don't just look back at the negative and the pain, but you can see the blessing in that as well. And you see the blessing in the desolation that God saved the land for us, essentially saved Yerushalayim for us, but also makes us so appreciate the incredible blessing of Jerusalem that we have today. Have a Shabbat Shalom.